So maybe this is another unreasonable round, I don't know, but it's another topic related to the last one about misinformation, and it's kind of important as well. This is most of this, I think. Uh, try to give you an example of what's not important, because people might think that oh, you're just saying that for everything now, and not what's not important. The types of food we eat, other than meat, um, what people choose to do at the time. Like for example, sexual preferences, fetishes. People fuss about that a lot for some reason. It's not a big deal. Like even like tiny dicks, for example. It's like a random tangent, but yeah, those are not important topics. But some that are important are literally misinformation and stuff. And this has sort of come about again because of experiencing it in real life myself personally. I fucking hate when it happens because it makes me feel so uncomfortable and alienated. Like the unbelievable thing about misinformation is people often are so convinced of it, and oftentimes it's like pulled out their arse. That there's no actual evidence to support the case, so it doesn't really make any sense. So yeah, what ends up happening is I feel alienated. Um, and it just feels extremely dangerous to be around that sort of thing. And I felt this way as a child as well. And so I was like, I was trying to think some of the things people would say about like friends and stuff. It just felt so off. Um, so I often didn't believe them on that. So yeah, I'm trying to concentrate. I don't know what's going on. Um, yeah, it's dangerous, and it's one of the things of why I don't exactly respect people's opinions. It's because those opinions are harmful. And again, like defining a harmful opinion is, for example, saying something like queer people don't deserve rights, people of colour don't deserve rights, those sort of things. They are literally objectively harmful to people, and not just them. It's objectively harmful to children, it's harmful to families, it's harmful to everyone. Like, there's nobody who wouldn't be affected by that sort of thing. There's people saying, oh, they always commit crimes, they're always the same sort of person, especially when you meet them. But again, it's anecdotally, and it's not even often true. Sometimes people fucking pull this shit out their arse, which is another type of harmful information. It's one of those things that you've made up just come out your arse, and that's not based on any sort of reasoning or evidence. It's just so bad. Um, yeah, like it's terrible. And one of the things that sort of I encountered today as well is like, hearing it from someone somewhat close, it's kind of jarring. It's really jarring when you hear it because it's sort of the thing that you don't really expect, especially with like, the type of quote unquote alignment that some people have. So it's not even necessarily a case of like people are doing it on purpose. It's like they seem to be really misinformed to the point where this harmful information literally will harm people. And they don't seem to give a shit because it's what they've been brought up with, what they believe. I've never been one to sort of take even like parental lessons to heart because not every parent's going to be right, and so I know my parents haven't always been right about everything. And because I've had so many perspectives on topics, it's like there isn't a right one. Like everything's like smack down in the middle to me because other than that being my upbringing, because of having two perspectives, two sides, which is really weird because I don't think many families have experienced that many people even. Yeah, advantages of having divorced parents, but also disadvantage. But people don't seem to realise that being biased towards something is another harmful behaviour. This is why we criticise billionaires a lot and why we need to do something about them. Well, they become more problematic and dangerous. more than they already are. So, yeah, and the topic that's brought up today was actually immigration again. And there's all this talk about how immigrants are taking over the UK, and somehow that's a problem, even though when you look into the evidence, it shows that they're in a minority. So, yeah, makes sense. I guess immigrants are taking over, even if they are in the 0.17%, which, by the way, is an actual statistic I found somewhere. There's a YouTube video. I sort of found some research into that. So it's just very bizarre, and it shows that people don't actually know what they're talking about. I made posts about this on Blue Sky. Like, thousands of English flags, but zero evidence supporting the claims against minorities. And it's like, what the fuck is the world coming to? God, I sound like an old man saying that, but literally, it feels that way. I sort of get it, and it might even be the case where when I become old, if I become old, I don't see myself living past 30, to be honest. It's like, yeah, I'm going to be the same old man, I think, and worry that I'll just become complacent and tolerate these things to a degree where it's like, it doesn't even matter, and I'm like apathetic towards it. That's literally one of my biggest fears. I'd hate to be the sort of arsehole that pushes an ideology without actually having anything to back it. Because then it's like objectively harmful to do something like that. The hell's the flight? What just happened? That's weird. Never seen that before. Got a long stick for it. It just made me laugh. It was very good. But yeah, like, it is harmful, and it makes me feel unsafe because little do people know, like even the people I heard this from, it's like, when it's sort of, what the hell's going on? Why do they keep putting smiley faces in there? There's something weird going on with this game. There's been so many weird things in the past hour. Yeah, like, it's not really a smiley face situation RL. Because, again, these harmful beliefs and ideologies, like the UK is doing with all these English flags, trying to obviously assert dominance and quote unquote draw out immigrants and people crossing the border, whoever. Like, literally doesn't matter, because the entire point of this propaganda, which it literally is so they can draw out people of different races or ethnicity. Like, it's ethnic cleansing in a sense, I guess. It's literally what it is. Because that's what that is actually doing. Like, it's trying to draw people out of the country who have done nothing wrong. And it's blaming it on all of them. Like, there's essentially nobody's innocent. It's like guilty until proven innocent sort of behaviour, and that's harmful. That is deadly, in fact. And that will no doubt lead to more crime, because again, like, laws that get put in place will put ethnic communities and whatever into a more disadvantaged situation. So yeah, they're going to commit more crime. They're going to turn to gang violence. They're going to turn to lots of illegal shit. That's just one of the things that happens because of, again, ethnic cleansing and just pure racism and stuff. Putting people into poverty just because they're black, they're Chinese, whatever. So yeah, things will happen. But you only have yourself to blame in that, not the people. People who are desperate to get out of that situation, to find a way out, and to protect their family. Like, again, let's not ignore the fact, I mean, that people who are of like these ethnicities and stuff who have moved here, illegally or not, they no doubt probably have families, and trying to exclude them means excluding children from this. And you're putting children through this hell as a result of your ideology. Like, what sort of fucking person does that? What the fuck are you? Like, why? Like, if you were that fucking child, how would you feel? Your parents arrested, put into prison, just for being here. And only because people just didn't like it. Like, what the fuck? And there's no reason for disliking that person. Growing up knowing that, it's probably going to turn me into a monster. It's drive you crazy, as it is with me at the moment. Yeah, that's like some of the most harmful shit. And it just needs to stop, obviously. That's why I bring this topic up, even. When I hear it from someone else, it's like, why? Like, you don't have any grounds for this belief. So, yeah. Like, it's literally, I don't know what it is, like, Nazism, fascism, it's a lot of different things. And it's because of these beliefs that have no grounds, have no actual evidence. It's just absolutely insane. So I just don't get it. It's just why? People really need to wake up. It's so bad at the moment. Yeah, I don't feel comfortable holding a flag of my own fucking country when it's the same country that's not only stopping people from becoming refugees here, it's also completely racist and transphobic and stuff. Like, there's so many things wrong with the country. And sort of turning into an ban sort of situation. Just saying that an man literally does. Uh, yeah, like, it's hard not to feel emotional about this when it's so harmful. You know, you're condemning children and families to this torture, which again has a ripple effect. As I said, it can put minorities into an even bigger minority, poverty, for example, and homelessness. It's going to cause more problems than it solves. There's literally doing nothing. And there's also like discussion again related to immigrants and stuff about immigrant hotels. Like, how the fuck has this even got out of this proportion? Like, I don't even know of any. And I reckon they're probably not that frequent anyway. If not, if I were just to look out now, there'd be like zero results because they almost don't exist. And they're complaining that hotels are for people to go on holiday and stuff, but like, what? I agree they need somewhere different to go so they don't take up space in there. No doubt people need to go on holiday every now and then, but where else do you put these people? Because there's no shelters. You just put them on the street again with children. Like, there's no logic behind these arguments. There's no care for anyone. It's always about this idea that they're invading. They're going to push their cultures on us, which there's no evidence for. And really, the only point that would like turn me against these people again is if there's evidence. I'll literally join the side if there were any evidence. It's not necessarily a hard thing to achieve because what's going on? It's just okay. That happened. A fucking weird game. Yeah, like no evidence, no case. Simple as that. Like, no arguments, I say, actually, in like a debate setting. God, it's so frustrating as well. And they also look at biased sources as well on this topic. Listen to some fucking YouTuber, what they say about this, and it's like, shut the fuck up. Do some actual research yourself and stop relying on just YouTube videos. There's other ways to figure this shit out, and logic is one of them. But no, if you're not willing to think for others, not willing to be empathetic, you don't really have a say in it. And that's one of the points that I'd argue in this. It's like when you're actually apathetic towards people, you don't really have a good argument. It's when you're apathetic that you simply don't care about the topic, you've lost all sort of interest, you've lost any sort of grounds, any meaning, let alone passion. Because I'd argue there's more passion when you're apathetic, like in a given topic. So yeah, like, that's not always a good case to promote violence, so definitely are some, but these situations often are. And again, like looking at the evidence and stuff, like one of the points I see brought up consistently is like, oh yeah, let's protect children, because obviously migrants are doing that. They're raping children and harming them in ways and selling them drugs. Like, have you even done the research on that? Like, how many people have done that? What percentage of migrants have done this thing, have committed a crime? And obviously, like, what are the percentage of immigrants anyway? That's the question here. Because again, I've found that statistic of like 0.17%. But this, when you look at it, it's like it's such a tiny amount compared to the rest of the population, of the UK population. So there's no such thing as an invasion. There's no such thing as obviously like illegal migration, that sort of stuff. Like it's so bad. I don't really know what's going to have hands. Like this one person of hundreds of thousands of immigrants. Like it's probably more like tens of thousands. So that's used as evidence against them. And what percentage of our own people do that same thing? This is the other thing. It's like the icebreaker in a sense, I guess. Because, you know, it's sort of something from becoming like obviously way out of hand or stale. I don't know what you call it. It's an analogy, sort of wise. But how do you stop this sort of thing getting out of hand? And when you look at it, and you look at what your own country does to people, it's the same percentage. Like, okay, so why the fuck is this pinned on migrants? I'd argue there's also a hidden sort of agenda here. Not really conspiracy theory wise, but there is definitely something shady going on with people who push this point. There's no doubt about that. There's literally something shady going on here. And it's because people are pushing, again, really dangerous ideologies that are not based on evidence. And so more children are harmed because of this stupid rule. And the other thing I forgot to mention with this actually, which again harms more children, because people don't really care about children until there's like something. Like it's not really about children, it's about stopping something else to stop another thing. But it's literally a domino effect, is the point I'm getting to. Because it'll come after queer rights, it'll come after race rights, it'll come after women's rights, and then, ironically, women aren't actually protesting against immigrants, but little did they know that's actually protesting against themselves as well. Because that's what happens. It's a domino effect. And after they're done with immigrants, they'll come after the next community, of the next minority, even disabled people they'll come after. It's never ending, and they won't stop until essentially everyone's a slave worker, including yourself and your children. Like, it literally doesn't matter to them. You know, literally they want us to be their pawns, and that's it. Like, we don't have any hierarchy, we don't have working class, we don't have middle class or anything. It's always about them at the top, nobody else. And that's again why the situation's gone out of hand. They try to sort of, is it leverage? The fact I say leverage, it's definitely not the right term. But yeah, they try to pass us off to a different sort of topic. Like again, like in America, there's like that school shooting, I think it was. No, church shooting, not school shooting, my bad. And they tried to pin it on trans people, of all things. I don't know the full story, but even without looking at it, I can tell there's obviously some misinformation here, and disinformation. Because for someone to be trans, they have to have obviously undergone these appointments and been diagnosed, and then gone obviously some sort of treatment, like surgery, or obviously there's like medication for it as well. Like anyone who's actually knowledgeable about the topic can speak on it. Those who won't, fuck off. You know nothing, you're not helping, and you're definitely not saving children. There's actually so many things that you have to undergo to transition, so that's the first point that I'd point out here. But if they were trans, what's the percentage again? So how many school shooters are trans and how many school shooters are cisgender people? I can almost guarantee you without looking, it's about the same. There's always a minority of people within a minority or majority. It's the same thing over and over again, and it's no different. So really, the point of someone being trans or not is irrelevant, so long as it's like not the actual basis for obviously doing assault shit, shooting children. As far as I know, it's probably not to do with that. So yeah, like people passing us off again to a minority as like the blame for this, because everyone's trying to blame something on someone, and I try my best not to because it's a bit immature. There definitely has to be more evidence-based reasoning here. But again, people's bigotry is what leads to that, and it will lead to more harm just happening in general, and not necessarily at the hands of people who might think, it's only a matter of time before someone who's like a die-hard Trump fan just starts to open fire on protesters and stuff, and not to mention like kill children at the same time. Like, let's not ignore that fact. Anytime someone wants to assert dominance, they are literally a danger to life. As simple as that. It's the same with Trump, same with JD Vance, whoever. It's all linked, and you can't really ignore this fact. Otherwise, you're just admitting that you're okay with like child killings and stuff. So yeah, like it makes no sense that people are scapegoating this to another minority, which has nothing to do with it. And again, like nothing to do with the motives, most likely. So yeah, second harm of misinformation, and why I bring it up again. Yeah, think smarter, not harder. It's always been my piece of advice for people. It's just gross when, yeah, it's just so dystopian, nonsensical. There's no grounds for shit. I don't know why people are doing it. It's not even hard to refute the information. You've got the internet and people are supposedly using Facebook, so I don't know why they're not going on Google and looking up facts about both sites. Yeah, I've looked for a site on like illegal immigrants or trans people, or something against them even, and then look for something for them. And that's how you balance out a bias. Otherwise, you're just feeding into a very unhealthy mind state. It's just one of the things I had to learn growing up as well. I was told God exists, and then I was told God doesn't exist. It's like, okay, I don't know what to believe here. And then I did my research, and I came to my own conclusions about that. So that was definitely a good thing for me to do. It's definitely helped me pave the way for other beliefs. But yeah. I think that's all I've got to say here. I pretty much covered everything, which is rare. I'm usually quite distracted. Yeah, so thanks for listening, everyone. If it's helpful or informative, I'd appreciate hearing that. I definitely am open to like agreeing and disagreeing as well. Like, I'll discuss this if I need to. I'm not someone who will outright deny like the opportunity to have my opinion changed, because that can be a good thing sometimes. But of course, it needs convincing. Like I've already set goalposts here. I've said evidence-based reasoning, and that'll be it. But until someone can again prove it, I'm not changing my opinion. As simple as that. I've said this about other topics too. And this isn't a topic that I expected to get passionate about recently, but here we are. Sort of been forced to play by hand in a sense because of both RL situations, real life, and also online as well. I see tons of this shit. It's just saddening. It's not so much the topics that get me down necessarily, it's just the facts. It's misinformation that's believed as if it was so true that you're essentially wrong if you're not believing it. and it's more common in old people. I think it's like it seems to be the thing that they grew up with. It's being complacent with again these like hardships or whatever, just wrongful things. Again, it doesn't matter. It's a strange thing. Yeah. It's it's absolutely fucking crazy. I just don't get it. So yeah, thanks for listening, and see everyone another time. I can end the video and try and find a recording there is.